Hi. So today I just want to, I swear, briefly talk about two more specialized gut health tests that are available. One is called an intestinal permeability test. You may have heard the term leaky gut. That's more of like a functional medicine or an integrative medicine term, but it basically means intestinal permeability. And what this really means is there is a mucosal barrier of your digestive tract. Primarily, we're talking about the small intestines at this point, and it's what protects your gut from pathogens, from damage to the lining of your digestive tract. But intestinal permeability, or leaky gut, is a pretty common condition that's recognized in functional medicine. Somewhat controversial in conventional medicine because of the type of testing that is used to determine that. But I've seen this work in action, and I think it's a pretty cool test. So an intestinal permeability test is a urine-based test. You have a kit, you do this test at home. There is a solution that you drink. Well, there's two actually that you drink. One is a lactulose solution and one is a mannitol solution. So both mannitol and lactulose are sugar alcohols. Now, lactulose is a larger sugar alcohol, and it should not easily penetrate the wall of your small intestines. A little bit of absorption is considered normal or okay, but if a lot of lactulose is recovered in the urine sample that you do a few hours after drinking that solution, that can be an indicator that there is some permeability there of the small intestine. And then the exact opposite scenario is the mannitol solution. Mannitol is a very small sugar alcohol, and we do expect to see some recovery in the urine of mannitol because with a smaller sugar alcohol, it should more easily penetrate the actual lining of the small intestines. So with that one, it's kind of interesting. Too low is not good, then there's a normal amount, then there's too high. So if you see a lot of mannitol recovered in the urine, that's just another confirmation, especially if also lactulose is recovered, to say, yeah, it looks like you have some perhaps significant intestinal permeability there. With the mannitol, if there's not enough, that could actually be an issue with absorption. You might see that in someone who has damaged microvilli, like from having celiac disease, or if there's chronic diarrhea or starvation. So really cool test. I have to look at my cheat sheet here. It's about $200. And again, it's a kit that I just order, have it drop shipped to your house. You do the test at the convenience in your home, whatever day works for you. Send it back to the lab, and it takes about a couple weeks to get the results. So again, that is an intestinal permeability test. The second one I want to talk about is the Sibo test. I've shared with you all before, I actually have Sibo. I've had it for about 3 years. I've been a little lax in trying to treat it these last couple of years, just a lot of stuff going on, but now I'm dedicated to getting rid of it. But Sibo stands for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. It's actually a very common condition. Estimated approximately 80 to 90% of people diagnosed with IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, probably have Sibo, or even something very closely related called SIFO, which is small intestine fungal overgrowth. Sometimes they kind of go together. We basically treat them the same. With Sibo, the best way to test it is with something called a breath test. I know that may sound kind of hokey, but there is this a kit, again, that gets sent to your house, so you're doing it at the convenience of your own time at home. But there is a solution you drink, and I'll explain that in a second. And there's this apparatus that you breathe into, and there are little test tubes that you insert into the apparatus. There's a little needle that you puncture the top. And yes, you are breathing into it, you are collecting breath. Why the heck do we do that? Well, if you have bacteria in your small intestines, and especially when it's overgrown, that's not where bacteria is supposed to be, by the way. It's supposed to be in your colon, not your small intestine. So we have you drink this solution. It's a lactulose solution again. That is a simple carbohydrate that will literally feed bacteria in the small intestines if you have it. And if you have SIBO, you're going to produce either methane gas or hydrogen gas, or possibly both. So by collecting your breath and analyzing it at the lab, we can see if you're positive to either one of those, we know that for sure you have SIBO. But by knowing whether you're a hydrogen producer or a methane producer can help determine the best treatment plan for you. And yes, that is something that once you test positive, it would be a great idea to occasionally retest that. Because here's the sad thing about SIBO. You typically don't get rid of it forever. Because there can be structural issues that cause that or genetic issues. It's one of those things that occasionally I'm just going to tell you, you need to treat for it and stay on top of it. But doing this particular breath test up front will let us know what type of SIBO you have and just how much is there based on how much gas is being produced. That particular test is $275. And again, the kit gets drop shipped to you, you collect it, and then I get notified when the results are in. And then with any of these tests that I've been talking about all week, by the way, once the results are in, then we schedule typically a 1-hour results and recommendation appointment so I can go over the full DRESS protocol with you. DRESS is an acronym, stands for diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, and supplementation. And based on the type of test that we do, and SIBO would actually be an example of one of these tests. If you test positive to SIBO, I'm going to give you all the options of what some of the natural recommendations are for treatment, but I'm also going to give you a referral letter for your doctor because you may choose to treat with a prescription antibiotic instead. That is specifically meant to treat, it's FDA approved for traveler's diarrhea, which can mean a variety of bacterial conditions or even parasites, but it's a very recognized treatment. It's just also, unfortunately, very expensive, which is why some people choose to treat with botanicals instead of prescription medication. But I'm still going to talk to you about all the options. And of course, as with everything else, you're welcome to discuss it with your favorite doctor as well. So if you have any questions about intestinal permeability testing or SIBO testing, feel free to drop a comment on this video, and I'll be back tomorrow to talk about another type of test. See ya. Bye.